Sometimes I get a little bit impulsive. Yeah, so sometimes I get a little impulsive, obviously. Sometimes get even more impulsive. I, f- I forget what I was looking into, but for some reason I ended up looking for a ski-doo snowmobile with a Rotax 670, and I found one about, I don't know, 100 miles away for $700. It ran, and the sled wasn't in too bad a shape, and I was like, oh boy, I need to go get that. I just felt like that was the thing to do. And then I scrolled down a little bit farther, and here I see this picture of this engine here, and I'm like, oh. And then I look at the ad, and he's like, man, I got all kinds of stuff. And yeah, basically for what I paid for all of this, which some of that's garbage, I could have bought that and felt good about it. That runs, pretty sure it's all complete, maybe a few little things here and there. That's a running engine, got almost all the stuff. Need the cables, and I think I might have the CDI box down there. But that's a 670. Obviously, this is all snowmobile engines. Well, maybe not too obvious, but they are all snowmobile engines. The guy went from Ski-Doo to Arctic Cat. So that's a 670. That's a 521. They both run. This is a 583. Right there's the head and cylinders for that. This is a 583. I need a head and cylinders, and yeah, probably who knows what miscellaneous bits and pieces. This is a 470. Got most everything there. I don't know carburetors. And then that is a 370, which block and crank rods. It's air cooled too, so I don't know what all's needed for that, but check the end play. I didn't stick a feeler gauge in them, but the end play on all of them seems to be reasonable, and don't seem to be excessive end play on none of them, which that's a good thing. And the rod bearings and crank bearings, from what I can tell right now, they're good to go. It's been a long time since I rebuilt the crankshaft in one of these, but I used to be pretty good at it. I enjoy it. Yeah, but if you didn't know, like this one right here, you can put a C, D, and E box on these, I believe. But this edge right here needs milled down. I think it just needs milled smooth, flush with this, and then 8 holes drilled and tapped, which you might be able to see, but this one is already drilled, that one's already drilled. They need tapped, but they still need machined down, or you'd have to come up with some other kind of, yeah, I don't know, I can't see very well down in there, but yeah, I think that one just needs the same machining that this one needs. And yeah, this one's already been drilled. It just needs probably drilled out a little better, or just tapped. I gotta find out what size bolts go in there, but they probably just need tapped is my guess. I don't know, there might be some threads in there. It's been a while if they were. This one's drilled and tapped. I can't remember what gearbox goes on this one, but I'm kind of interested in getting this one. This one here is definitely a good little ultralight engine. 370. I think it's got like 35 horsepower or something like that. I think this one's got something like 55 to, I think maybe 65. And then these two here, I believe they're around 95 or 100. I think they're 100, 105. And then that one's 95 or 100. They're real close. That one there, I think, is 130, 120, 130, which I don't know. I'm just learning about the Rotax engines. I know two strokes and know a lot about engines. I haven't never really messed with the Rotax engine, but I guess the ones that are using the 583 is basically a 582. Just doesn't. The 582 has been purposely made for an aircraft, and obviously it's already been milled and tapped, and then it's got a dual ignition head or dual spark, 4-spark plug head. And as far as I can tell and everything I've looked into, it's identical engine, but these run about another 1,000 or 1,500 RPMs higher. That's why they're a higher horsepower. And from what I'm learning, the exhausts on them are not tuned as well to make horsepower to tame them down. And then I think they're probably not. The mostly it's the exhaust, I believe. That's what's letting them wind up so many RPMs, but they get detuned. I think this one here, they run that at 6,500 RPM, and it's 92 horsepower. If you get one from Rotax Rick, I think is the guy, down in Florida. But yeah, now I was getting all excited because I wanted one of them, and I was gonna chop this thing, cut this front end off, chop it, and spread it open about 6 inches and extend the fuselage 4 foot. And then I'm like, damn, that's a lot of work. Still faster than building a whole fuselage myself, but my dog's like, dude, why are you talking to yourself? Yeah. I don't know, I might still do that, who knows. It is faster than building a fuselage. I might just cut it here, and down there. Cut that tube out, stretch it back, and end up making this thing like 3 or 4 foot longer, along with my square wing carrier and folding wings. And then I was thinking, gee, how am I going to get that big old Rotax on the front of this thing? And then I'm looking at the firewall. I guess that is the firewall, but it's tiny. And then I got to looking at Avid Aircrafts and the Sky Raiders and other airplanes, and I'm like, gee, shit, they got like 25 by 24 firewalls, and this thing's 12 by 15. Might still be able to make it work, I don't know. Maybe I'll just throw one of these in a go-kart and have fun. And maybe I'll just let one sit around for a minute and throw one of these a little bigger than the Kawasaki 440 on here and have fun with it. Or maybe I'll just throw the 440 on it and dick with it and get it flying and have some fun and sell it and get something bigger. And this is, I'm not real tall, but I'm kind of wide, and I hang out over the sides of this thing. And I'd like to have doors and stuff, which I might be able to make that happen, but I have to widen it. That way I can not be squeezed down in there. Butt fits in there fine. It's the shoulders and all that. I'm too big up top. Alright, well, now I gotta sort through all this shit. Most of these, I'm pretty sure, is probably just pistons. That one's got a broken skirt on it, and I looked at a lot of the rings, and they're not looking too good. And A lot of them, you know, they probably got bad seals or who knows what. The guy knew how to work on some stuff, but he gave up too quick. Oh, yep, time to clean up. Yeah, so I've been going through what I got here, cleaned up some of my mess, and basically, yeah, the dude was going to keep the carburetors, and he started to pull that off and decided, screw it, he had enough shit. He had such a hoard, it wasn't even funny. Car parts from snowmobiles, he had all kinds of stuff, but yeah, this one here, I'm pleased with it. I'm not sure what coils and CDI boxes. I think this does go to this one, and one of these sets of coils go to this, that goes to this. I'm sure there's a few little pieces here and there that I'd that I'd need anyway, but pretty sure I could go slap this one in a snowmobile or go-kart or something right now and get it working. And then this one here, not far off either. It's got almost everything I need that I can tell. Cables, need throttle cables. Yeah, I probably shouldn't step on this thing. Yeah, need throttle cables for it, and if I was going to put any of these in an airplane, I can take the heads and have them machined and put dual plugs in them. And if I was going to put any of them in an airplane, I'd be getting new coils and CDI boxes anyway, and you'd have to if it's a dual coil anyway, or dual ignition. Yeah, but these two here, probably not much, and I can have them working in something. This 583, you can see here that's why it got tore apart. This piston ring is stuck, and then you got piston slap, and it's probably why I only have one cylinder, or I'm missing a cylinder. This one is good. It needs a little honing inside, and the head looks pretty good. But basically, I think disassemble it, new bearings and seals just to be safe. Check the water pump, new piston rings, set of carburetors, cables. It's already got the stator and all that stuff in it, and needs a cord and a handle. I'm not sure. I had to go through it to make sure, but I think most of this recoil stuff is ready for this one, so it's not too bad. And of course, have to have a machine for the gearboxes to go on all of them. This one need carburetors and the boots. And it also has a bad piston. The rings are stuck. That's nice and pretty. But the cylinder's in good shape, so that's a good deal. And yeah, it's got the stator and all the good stuff are in there. It needs some more stuff for the recoil. But I think for the most part, this one wouldn't cost too much. Get the rest of the parts, do the crank and pistons, and get it fine. Yeah, this is the 470. That's a 583 or 580. It could be a 582. It's the snowmobile version of the 582. That's the snowmobile version of the 531, 537. Something like that. But yeah, it's a little bit of work. It'd be a nice LSA or LSA. I think that's actually putting out like 75 or 85, something like that. And this one here, I was dicking around with these parts and the blocks, the cases. They're basically the same thing, or they are, because I had this on that one because I like displacement. Big stuff makes big power, but basically it's the crank rods, pistons, and cylinders are different, but the blocks are same. From a little bit of homework that I did. Needs the plate back there to mount the stator on. Stator, got the flywheel. There's I don't know if it's kind of like another part of the flywheel that goes over top of that I don't have. None of the recoil stuff, so that's gonna be a donor. Unless, yeah, it'll be a donor for something. Or just sit around and collect dust. The 377, I'm not interested in messing with that one. This one here, 470, I think is, it'd still be a screamer on an ultralight. Probably too much, but it looks like a it ain't very big, and who's gonna know it's got 20 horsepower or more. No. But I think I might, this one here, I might go through this one and then put that on the bird. I'd really like to do the 670, but I think I might let that one hang out a while and stick that on something bigger. Yeah, I don't know. The part of me that wants to just lift off in like 10 feet says put that on it.